Awusivele bumbene insimbi yesithupha ekuseni nabakalazithi asinivusele sinamukele ehlelweni elithanza Kusile breakfast show. It is the 19th of October, starting the day on 14 degrees Celsius, and temperatures expected to rise up to 20 degrees Celsius. So nje alifuni kubalela kahle kodwa siyacwayisa futhi nje siyakhumbuta ukuthi uma utawuphuma endlini ukhumbule kuphatha lijezi. Bito lami ngusifiso ngwakanxumala ngihambe ngedwa ke ngihamba nemfombeni lungelele makagula. Very good morning mfombeni, njani?
I'm well this morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Ngiphilile.
Yeah, nababukele sabavusela. Thank you for joining us this morning. Sisama ukuthi niphilile lapho nobukela khona umsakazo Eswatini TV. Selo sikiye inyanga yemphala lapha ke sibuka dona tindzaba te breast cancer awareness month kanye nato tindzaba te mental health. Kubalekile ukuthi vele le toto timbili sihambise embili kule nyanga lena lesetudu. Namhlanje the show sitabe sikhulumisana nalabasuka enhlanganweni yebathengi dokumleke ukuthi elangeni la itolo etinkundleni tekuchumana kube nendzaba lebeyishisa legcine seba kanjene kuthukuthela esiveni lesinengi lokulandzela ukuthi kube nalenye imvotsa nje leshonelwe ngomfana wayo ngekumita enzaweni yekungcebeleka eSimunye Country Club. Siveke sibe nemibono leminengi ngalendzaba kwagcina sekuvela nendzaba ukuthi kumgcoka ukuthi emaswati asaye kuleti ndzawo tekungcebeleka ayadi imithetho yekusebenta yaleti ndzawo noma ke texwayiso letikhokhwa nguleti ndzawo pheceleti ama-disclaimers kanye nalama forms lesayinwa ngisosive. Sitabe-ke sinemeli Bhanyaza Mdluli lophinza abe ngusihlalo wenhlangano yabathengi kodwa ukhuluma ngabo lama-disclaimers nebomgcoka nje bekuthi singemaswati siwafunze siwacondzisise kanye nokuthi uma ngabe sekwenteke isigameko salolu hlobo uthini kahle kahle umthetho sabe sinaye nga-6.
Kanti-ke siyafuna nekukhulumisa tindzaba tamdlavuza itindzaba lungeleleko ukuthi solo inyanga ya breast cancer awareness month. But before we speak about breast cancer, which we will speak about namhla ehlelweni, siyafuna nje kubuka tindzaba temdlavuza wemlomo wesibeletho. Tincwaningo tesimo samdlavuza kuleli tikhomba ukuthi kubantu labangetulu kwemakhulu lasihlanu labatfolakala abanamdlavuza labacwaningwa luhlangothi lwe-Eswatini National Cancer Control Unit labangemakhulu lamane bashiya emhlabeni. Kanti-ke ngeminyaka wa-2020 labangemakhulu lamathathu nemashumi lamane nakunye bekungilaba nemdlavuza wemlomo wesibeletho. Sitaxoxisana-ke nadokotela lowati kabanti ngetindzaba temdlavuza, dokotela Teluleko Maseko, kulandzela ukuthi siphonile ukuthi kuphume i-report from yona Eswatini National Cancer Control Unit yeluhlelo labalicala ngenyanga ya June, if I'm not mistaken, lokujova nje bantfwana besikolwa ngemjovo i-HPV vaccine ekutheni anciphe emathuba ukuthi bawuthole lo mdlavuza wemlomo wesibeletho. They've officially vaccinated 49,000 webantfwana baphokophelele, I believe bathi the 80,000. We want to know ukuthi ke njengoba le nombolo ya 49,000 is a great achievement, nasibuka ukuthi nje sisuka kuJune sinyalo siku October basengaqedzi kusebenza but baqhubeka basebente. What are their next plans regarding lokuchubeka nje kujova bona bantfwana? Siyafuna ke nawe kuva ku Kelvin Dlamini lo health promotion officer mayelana nayo i-breast cancer nasicedza nadeleko lotasikhulumisa ngayo i-HPV vaccine. Kuthe ngabe njengoba kuyi-breast cancer awareness month sithini saka breast cancer sithombe njengoba sitabe sesitfolile saka HPV ungayenza kutabe kumnanzi kakhulu.
Yeah, asibuye thamba imbili kumaphephandzaba. Four minutes after 6, sasicala ngebuka e-Times of Eswatini siwahloko lithamba imbili lomuhla. Another call on cash for votes starts probe from primary elections. General elections losers say they also reported such corruption. Kanti some MPs now accused of demanding 20,000 emalangeni from regional hopefuls.
Wow.
Leti hamba imbili, King's job creation assignment to business people. Nasibukele letinye lethamba imbili, businessman found dead at Mlilwane. Judge details Sipo's journey of hate. Kanti letinye lethamba imbili, warning on UNESCO graduation dress code.
Yeah, asibuke temidlalo masinyane Big guns in the spotlight as a fierce battle for top PLE post. Sevele Sekona, Ngudze, Banyaza, they are all in a race to fill vacant EXCO seat. Kunema seats ke lapha ku EXCO PLE Executive Committee la fayekhathi chairperson kubeke nemalunga la balelwa cishe nje kulasihlanu kuya kulasithupha. Kanti-ke kulenye lehamba embili athletics Eswatini slaps coach club with 6 charges. Some of lama accounts lakhona afakiwe lapha ke kule article lekhona lapha ngemuva as the top club Manzini Athletics and coach Muzi Mabuza has been slapped with half a dozen counts for alleged misconduct. On the international front, Neymar has torn knee ligament and he faces his surgery.
All right, your leading headlines on the Eswatini Observer this Thursday. King urges businesses to create more jobs. Isithombekele lapho kubonakala khona inkosi ngilethele thamba embili. Victor's wife says it's in God's hands. The sad reality is that I'll never see my husband again. Kuletini thamba embili. FNB strike, members being intimidated. Kuletini thamba embili. 14 pharmacists charged in cleanup. And troubled TLC in talks with government.
Yeah, good temidlalo Eswatini Observer Caleb Birds reconcile as the coach has started drilling team. This one speaks to Mbabane Swallows standing board chairman Masocha Vilagati, who had a meeting with coach Caleb Ngwenya on Tuesday with an aim of resolving stumbling blocks in the way of the mentor returning to the team, and it was a fruitful one. On another one, Banyaza leads race for PLE EXCO post. Lapho ke kunema EXCO seats lase up for grabs from bona lama hopefuls la khona. On another one, Birds Wesleyans in Mavuso double header. Following the FIFA week break, football fans are in for a treat as there will be an exciting double header at Mavuso Sports Center this coming Saturday.
And your leading headlines on the Eswatini Daily News this Thursday. King urges businesses to expand and create employment opportunities. More on the story on page 1. Guletini Tambembili judge watches snap video, reserves judgment. And 7 out of 91 complaints received by EPC during elections made it to court.
Kutemidlalo, Eswatini Daily News. Mxolisi's Royal AM dream has been shattered. Court order instituted by KwaZulu High Court on behalf of SARS to attach properties of the trouble-torn South Africa's DSTV Premiership Royal AM in respect of tax evasion amounting to over 37 million emalangeni. Birds smoke peace pipe with Caleb. That's another one that is making headlines this morning. And on the international front, Bellingham may never play in the Premier League.
Right, it's 8 minutes after 6. Tabahlete magete nasibuya sathatha indaba tesoti.
Umsakazo wetithombe iEswatini TV utibophelele kuhlonipha nekulandzela umgomo wetekusakata loweluswe libandla letekuchumana eveni.
Ngephansi kwalomgomo sitimisele kusakata tindzaba letentiya ngaleso sikhatsi tindzaba letide emagama lacosheme letitsembekile letitsintsa tonke tinhlangothi naletisebaleni
kusukela kutepolitiki, tetemphilo, tekulima, tetinkantolo netemhlaba wonke jikelele siniletsela tindzaba njengoba tinjalo ngaleso sikhatsi letenteka ngaso.
Kanzi kulomsakato siphindze sikulethele lonke luhlobo lwetemidlalo kusuka emidlalweni welibhola letinyawo kuye emidlalweni ledlalelwa ematafuleni kanye naleto letiqhamuka ngaphandle kwakuleli.
Leti tindzaba lowutiletselwa ngumsakazo wetithombe iEswatini TV.
Kwalomhla siphindze sikwamukele ilishumi imizuzu ibumbene insimbi yesithupha. Ake sibuke nathi tindzaba teSwati. Silo semhlaba sikhathatekile ngelizinga lekweswelakala kwemisebenzi. Imbube seyikhutsate bosomabhizinisi besifundza saseshiselweni ekutheni babumbane baphindze basebenzisane baphume nemasu ekungetani kwakha ematfuba emisebenzi yeveni. Ingwenyama bephefumula ngesikhathi kunesidlo sakusihlwa sabosomabhizinisi besifundza saseshiselweni lebebakadze-ke bahlanganyele esigodlweni embangweni.
Silo semhlaba, indlovukazi Mhlekazi kanye nesigodlo sibusise sidlo sakusihlwa sabosomabhizinisi besifundza saseshiselweni. Leli dina lebelentiwe yinkampani ye-Bold Eswatini bekulithuba lekuthi ingwenyama hulumende kanye nabosomabhizinisi balesifundza bashiyela nelugwayi etindzabeni tekutfutfukisa emabhizinisi nemnotfo wesifundza saseshiselweni. Abekuphindze kube lithuba lekuthi bosomabhizinisi babike ngemisebenzi lemisha nengemaphupho labanawo nangetinkinga labahlangabetana nato basachuba emabhizinisi. Sesiphefumulela umhlaba silo sibonge buba betikhulu nebatali ngekukhutsata imbali ukuthi iphume ngetinkani iyawungenela umkhosi wemhlanga. Imbube ithi kuyathokozisa kubona abamfu labasha bawahambisa imbili emasiko. Silo semhlaba sibonge bosomabhizinisi ngekuthi bachamuke nembono walelidina njengoba selenteka njalo ngeminyaka. Ingwenyama seyikhutsate bosomabhizinisi balesifundza ukuthi basekele hulumende ekunciphiseni izinga lekuswelakala kwemisebenzi ngekuthi bakhe emathuba emisebenzi kude emaswati atawutfola imisebenzi.
Siyakhutsata embosomabhizinisi nembala kwekuthi balibambise live kakhulu esigabeni sekwakheni imisebenzi yanze eveni kutovela emathuba ikakhulu alaba lababonalako ukuthi emathuba ekuthi bathola umsebenzi solo abawatholi bakhona lokhanzali sakwe ukuthi siwaze umthala ungakanani akutekele ukuthi akazange asayosebenza akazange asahole akazange sekube njani ubone ukuthi kuba impilo lebhlungu nalelikhuni leyo bekunene lekubese kuyasikhumbuta ke ngamunye singemaswati ukuthi ke awulo naloyo unemsebenzi lafanele awende esigabeni sekwakheni umsebenzi nemathuba eveni bekunene lobulukhuni lobu ngize ngikubone noma sendi imisebenzi nje lokube sigidza lapha sithi sisagidza awu thuke sobona lomunye asayideka awu mina ngithi umsebenzi awu lo sisiyagidza awu avela bese uthatha lelo thuba lokuthi utawuphinza lithole lelinye lithuba nanyalo bengibuka tethulo nje ngithi tengise basangethule cha cha naye uthi ubika sethulo kepha wasothi ha kunalenye indzaba lafuna kuyibika indzaba ukuthi ushoda umsebenzi uyabona ukuthi laba baze bathatha amathuba lawa ngulesimo abatendi nase basicebetile ke lesimo nabasicebete enkosini basicebete emaswadini onke afanele athathe ke responsibility ekutheni sibone ukuthi bonke laba tibika ngalolu hlobo akusho ukuthi kumbe ungathi kumbe banani ngoba bathi nemntwana longakhali ufela embelekweni kuloku tibika kwabo banyenti labangabe batibika labanye batibamba labanye bayabona nangathi bambi ngidawuze ngifela embelekweni yolingenani angifanele ngilahle emathambo konke lokho kukhombisa lesimo sekufanele sisende sekutheni kufanele sisende kangakanani imisebenzi eveni ebekunene.
Lo sabambe sikhundla sekuba ngundvunankhulu welive Chief Mgwagwa Gamede uthe lidina selitele emathuba emabhizinisi laphindze lakha emathuba ekuthi bosomabhizinisi besifundza kunye nebelive lonke bakhone kushiyelana ligwayi.
We appreciate your active role in the growth and development of the local business sector. Ndlaliselwa, through your leadership, we have seen the region develop into a vibrant destination of choice, particularly around this time of the year, Your Majesty.
Lokhulumele bosomabhizinisi besifundza saseshiselweni Sam Isa lingumphathi weBuild It Eswatini uthe babosomabhizinisi bayakubona kutikhandla kweNgwenyama nesifiso sayo imbube sekuthuthukisa umnotho welive nesive seMaswati kunye nenhlalakahle yaso.
Wenawaphakathi, we recognize and applaud your desire and efforts to get this country and its people to a better future of a stable political and socio-economic prosperity. We consider ourselves blessed with the caliber of leadership that you continue to display. We note that your leadership is driven by a unique compulsion to achieve success on your plans. And this is quite motivational to us in the business community.
Bosomabhizinisi bahadalisele isilo semhlaba ngeminyaka lengama-55 solo sadalwa baphindze futhi bafisela iNgwenyama neNdlovukazi impilo lenze nalegcwele tibusiso. Impuphu yemhlaba isike likhekhe kuhalalisela iminyaka lengama-55 kwatalwa iNgwenyama nelive lathola inkhululeko. Etintsabeni kubika Pholile Maziya esigodlweni eMbangweni.
Mapalane lomkhulu etiko letekulima Sydney Simelana uthi tikulumba tahulumende naleto letibolekwe kubosomabhizinisi setime ngemumo tilungele kulimela balimi. Lelitiko lithi tingemakhulu lamatsatfu nemashumi lamane nakunye 341 tikulumba lesetilungele kungena emasimini tilimele balimi.
Njengoba live licale kutfola timvula tekucala kulamalanga, litiko letekulima lithi phezu komkhono kubo balimi kute live likhicite kudla lokwanele likhone kudondla. Mapalane lomkhulu etiko letekulima Sydney Simelane uthi tikulumba setivele ticalile kulimela balimi.
Nelitulu ke siyalibona phela liyana siyabonga kakhulu, siyathemba ukuthi amaswati atawuqhubeka emasimini. Kubeke neconcern ngendzaba yetikulumba ukuthi tikulumba time njani tona. Usingasatisa nje sive kusesivele sesiqalile kulima tikulumba sinale tinhlobo letimbili kusho ukuthi sinye inhlobo yokuqala tikulumba tahulumende leti ku NMC, kwesibili bese kuba ke tikulumba tema private tractor owners leto ke siyaticasha nato sibe nebudlelwane noma leyo contract lesiyenda konemnikado wesikulumba bese bayahamba ke bayolimela sive. Lo sikhuluma nje timvula setiqalile tikulumba tisemasimini kuyasebenteka umsebenzi uqhubeka kahle kakhulu.
Litiko letekulima lethi tikulumba lesetihloliwe lesetilungele kungena emasimini tingemakhulu lamatsatfu nemashumi lamane nakunye 341 kanti labanye balimi sebaqalile kutfola tindvo tabo tekulima kufaka ekhatsi inhlanyelo kulokunye. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Samkelswe Khoza Sembabane.
Ngenxa kwenyuka kwetinombolo tebantfwana kanye nebantfu labasha labagcinwe emnyango wekucondzisa timilo kuleli. Lo mnyango sewuceceshe bantfu kabanti tisebenti tawo ngendlela lengiyo yekuphilisana nabo. Umphathi walo mnyango Lamakhosini Dlamini uthi inhlalakahle yalabantfwana basengaphansi kwalo mnyango imgcokwa kude ke babuyele emimangweni baphile impilo lehlobile nalesebaleni.
Umphathi walomnyango uchaza ngaletinye tetintfo letiholela ekutheni ligcine likhula linani lebantfwana nebantfu labasha labangena bagcinwe ngulomnyango.
Bangeniswa ngilolo sibazebagana nakuba bona nale behavior yabo masebala ngekhasi ukuthi kuthatha isikhathi ukuthi kufanele kuphumele ejamva lamtimbeni wabo. So mabalakisi mabahleni nathi mabakhona sabasakuthula ukutsakamula kuyaba sithi bese kuyaphuma nema withdrawal symptoms lokhanza sinafuna sesipansane nebetempilo nabo babe khona ukuthi sibenda njani nabo bantwana. Angisho lokho ukuthi vele ku-insayethu sonke silive leMaswati sibatali sisive ukuthi singabe sibenda njani labantwana nokuthi singabe sibavimba njani labantu labathengisela abantwana kona leti dzakamuva ngoba phela sona i-future yabo labantwana.
Umcondzisi welihlangothi lwebantfwana ehhovisini leliPhinlani Vunankulu umhambi Ndlangamandla uthi kukhulisa umntfwana kungumsebenzi wemmango.
Lo mthetho webantwana section 18 wako uyakuveta kakhulu lokho ukuthi umtali nguye kanye lesimbhekile ukuthi akhulise umntwana ngendlela lengiyo, ameluleke, amnike indlela lengiyo yekuphila even. Kodwa lo mthetho wona lo section 18 nje uyaveta lokho ukuthi uma ngabe kunesizathu sekuthi ungumtali utabangekho, akube nendlela thito loyihlelako ukuthi umntwana utawusala anakeka kanjani.
Betinkantolo nabo baceceshiwe ngendlela lefanele bateke ngayo tindzaba letiphatselene nebantfwana. Setamile kuchumana nalomnyango kuva kwekuthi bangaki bantfwana nebantfu labasha labangaphansi kwawo, kepha umchumanisi Gugulethu Dlamini uchazile ukuthi abakavumeleki kukhokha lo mbiko. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Nelisiwendla ngamandla, nginasimuva Shongwe Yembabane.
Kulandzela kucwila kwemfana wakaMasuku longu azokuhle Masuku ku-swimming pool eSimunye Country Club mhla tisikhombisa kule nyanga lesetulu. Lwabese-ke uyasishiya emhlabeni. Indzaba ekushona kwakhe lo mfana indzaba mlonyeni etinkundleni tekuchumana, kanti-ke kunetinsolo kwekuthi iSimunye Country Club kude taba letayenda kukhulumisana nemndeni kubancisitela ngalesehlakalo. Libandla letindzaba likhulumisene naSifiso Nyembe, Long Group Public Affairs Manager enkampanini yahlukela ngalendzaba lotsite bacela kungakhulumi lutho kanye nebetindzaba kwamanje ngoba-ke basakhulumisana nemndeni lotsintekako ngalokwenteka. Libandla letindzaba liphindze lakhulumisana namndeni Masuku wemndeni wakaMasuku ngalendzaba. Masuku yena uthe bangumndeni basesebuhlungu ngalokho lokwenteka lebakugadzileke ukuthi beSimunye Country Club babe bekucala kutolila njengoba umfana washonela emabaleni abo, kodwa abakwendanga lokho wade wangcwatshwa umfana. Masuku uthe lucwaningo khani baluthole etolo kungulesithathu lolu chamuka kuSifiso Nyembe wayo lenkampani. Utheke ligama leliphume emndenini ukuthi batawuvusa tilonza ngoba abakhonanga kuta kaMasuku kukhulunywe nasithanza kwenteka lesigameko lebangasicondzisisi ke ukuthi kuta kwabo nyalo sebetangani bafuna kwentekeni futhi. Inhlangano yaka World Vision ngekusebenzisana nenhlangano yaka Khango babe netifundvo nebafundzi benyuvesi yase-Southern Africa Nazarene University kubafundzisa ngekugwema kutfola ligciwane le-HIV. Labafundzi bathi basitakele kakhulu ngaletifundvo.
Njengengcenye yokufundisa abafundzi bemakolishi nemanyuvesi ikakhulukati labo labenta umnyaka wekucala, inhlangano yaka World Vision ngakusebenzisana neyaka Khango bafundise abafundzi benyuvesi ye-Southern Africa Nazarene University ngetindzaba te-HIV ngaphansi kwesihloko lesithi Health Activation, Halting the Spread of HIV and Reversing its Impact. Sithembile Dlamini lobuke tinhlelo te-HIV ka World Vision uyenaba ngalolu hlelo lebalichuba kubafundzi bemanyuvesi.
Tinkhomba tekuthi kula mantfombatana lesikushito wathi HIV incidence kibo solo mani siyazama but solo kuyavela kungako ke iWorld Vision nekubambisene bakhango yathi asesidlale naye inzima la ikakhulukati kula mantfombatana siwabuke kuze ukuthi nawo utoncipha leli zinga lekuthi kubhebhedeleke ligciwane kubo.
Umphathi wetempilo khona-ke enhlanganweni yaka World Vision Ngabisa Sihlangu uthi lolu luhlelo lebaluchuba kumakolishi lamanenge.
Betalana nje basha abakase sebafunze mhlawumbe ngaphandle kwasemimangweni yabo batawufika lana bathole bangani labasha babona impilo lesha futhi yasedolobheni la kumcwa kakhulu ukuthi ke bese ke sesikhona lokubafundzisa ukuthi bangadimela kanjani ngoba sebala ngoba sekude umntalo tabatshela ukuthi buya ngesikhathi hamba ukufundza hamba odadisha ungahlanganyeli nebantu labakanje.
Samkelo Vikalakati lo ngumfundzi khona-ke esanu uthi vele indzaba yeligciwane le-HIV indzaba lekhona kubonzanga yakhe.
Labanye bethu abekho educated, kusesene stigma, kusesene discrimination, labanye basasaba nalokuthi abatokhuluma ukuthi bona ba HIV ngoba basaba ukuthi sidobagceka and all that yabo. But through lama sessions lawo asifundisile ukuthi awukho weva.
Bantfu labashake ngibona bebatfola kakhulu leligciwane kanike live selihambe umgamu lobonakalako impela ekwehliseni isibalo salabatfola leligciwane lingama-new infections njengoba live labashaya bo-95 lekulugoli lakamhlaba kanti-ke laba likucala nje liphokophele ukuthi lifike ku-2030 sekude bantfu labasha labathola leli gciwane. Etindzabeni ngingiyani Msipho Nasikhumbuzo Dlamini kaManzini.
Bafundzi benyuvesi yaseswatini labengcakwe tinkhulungwaneni letine batawuphotfula ngemgcibelo lesiya kuye mhla tingemashumi kulesetulu khona enyuvesi yasekwaluseni. Mabhalane wenyuvesi Dr. Salibona Simelana utsi bayajabula ukuthi batawuba nalomsebenzi ngemuva kwesikhathi lesidze bangakhoni kuba nalomcimbi.
Bafundzi lebesinabo labacedzile tifundvo tabo lapha e-university kusukela nga-2020 kuze kube kunyalo baphothule noma-ke bagraduate. Lapho sikhuluma ngebafundzi labebenta ema-certificate programs, diploma programs, first degrees, lababo BA, BSc, and then nalabo labebenta senior degrees, dawuthola ukuthi lapho sinabo masters, bo MA, bo MSc, nalamanye nje-ke labitwa ngokwehlukahlukana kwawo kuyatholakala kutawutholakala kulama programs ukuthi nalabanye-ke futhi-ke labacetse-ke bona-ke labacetse ema-degrees labitwa ngekuthi i-Doctor of Philosophy, ma-PhDs. Sinabo-ke bonke labo batabe bagraduate kulolu suku lwangemgcibelo mhla ka-21 ku-October 2023.
Labafundzi labatawuphothula bangu-4,442 ngaphansi kwetifundo letehlukene. Inyuvesi-ke icela abafundzi ukuthi bagcoke bazitse babe formal noma-ke bavunule ngalokuphelele. Lo msebenzi-ke kubhekeke ukuthi ungenelwe nguchancellor wayo-ke inyuvesi lekusilo inkosi Mswati wesithathu. Emalungiselelo kasavele asezingeni lelisetulu khona-ke emagcekeni ale nyuvesi. Etindzabeni ngingugiyani Msipho Nasikhumbuzo Dlamini ekwaluseni.
Etindzabeni temidlalo umphatsi wenhlangano ledlalisa imidlalo yema-Olympics kanye naleyo yema-Commonwealth Maxwell Jele utsi ngenhloso yekulungiselela imidlalo lemikhulu yeminyaka lotako lefaka ekhatsi ema-All Africa Games event laseGhana kanye nema-Olympics event lase-France. Lenhlangano seyitawubamba imihlangano sikolwa lapho itawufundzisa khona 70 tetinhlangano letahlukene baceceshi betemidlalo tingijimi kanye netinsatseli. Kantsi lemihlangano sikolwa kubhekeke kutsi icale kulempelasonto.
Njengendlela yokulungiselela imidlalo lemikhulu lefaka ekhatsi ema-All Africa Games event laseGhana eminyakeni lotako, ema-Olympic Games event lase-France kanye nema-Region 5 alonyaka ngenyanga yeNgongoni event lase-Namibia. Inhlangano ledlalisa imidlalo yema-Olympics kanye naleyo yema-Commonwealth itawubamba imihlangano sikolwa lemibili. Wekucala watiwa nge-Sports Administration lotawufaka ekhatsi bothishela tisebenti tenhlangano tetemidlalo letahlukahlukene kanye-ke netinsatseli lekungetindlu tetindzaba. Kantsi-ke lo mhlangano ungaphansi kwe-National Olympic Academy. Lomunye-ke umhlangano utaba ngumhlangano sikolwa wetingijimi letikhona lapha eveni ngaphansi kwelibandla lelibuke emalungelo etingijimi Eswatini Athletics Commission.
Siyajabula-ke loku-announce lokuthi we are going to be having 2 facilitators. Sitobe sinaye Emake Pearl Dlamini lophinze abe ngiyo i-board member yakayiwoka lotobanjiswa nguThoba Mazibuko. Thoba-ke siyamathi sonke kwekuthi ngu-Chief Operations Officer ku-Eswatini Athletics. Njengoba-ke bese sengivedile lokuthi sivakashi sethu lesikhulu siyalenda Friday entsambama lesinganga CEO wakaSASCOC lena naye atoniketwa lithuba kwekuthi kube khona i-presentation la yendako on leadership.
Bosihlalo lababili batinhlangano letitawuhola lemihlangano bachaza kabanti ngebumcoka balemihlangano.
We want our members ukuthi abe capacitated and nabumcoka beku involve labo school head teachers. Sifuna ukuthi le gospel yale Olympics ikhona kungena letikolweni.
Together we also discuss important topics such as safeguarding life after sport, because as athletes we can't play or swim or run forever. We need to prepare for our future. I'm leaving one example as I'm retiring next year. I'm already starting preparing for my future. I've done level 1 coaching so that when I'm done running, I'll be part of the sport or the community.
I-Sports Administration course kubheke ukuthi iqale mhla ka-21 kuya ku-24 enyangeni leSetulu e-Olympia Africa kaLobamba, bese-ke lo mhlangano wetingijimi wona utawubanjwa ube welilanga linye nje vo lokungumhla ka-21 kuleSetulu ehhotela George Kamanzini. Etindzabeni temidlalo ngingiyani Msibi naFabrice Msonera eMbabane.
Asitephethe ngaleyo yema All Africa Games nema Olympics thathe isimo selitulo sibahla letmarket sitawubuya sichubeka nehlelo.
Uyezwana uthokandaba emagumbamane omhlaba ngemandla sibaya esigodlweni elitsitsini mhlati ngemashumi lamabili nakuthathu imbala usho njalo ke Mswazi omnyama kulabaluthuli ulodvunganzaba wasembelebeleni ulodvunganzaba wasemambondweni uduma phasi bakuzwe ngenzingcingo msakandaba bakuzwa ngezingcingo bayakubalekela bayethe wena waphakathi.
Asibenze sinimukele sakuvuselana olosanza kusivulela elangeni la itoro etingwedleni tachumana kube nendzaba lebeyishisa legcine sebanga nekutfukuthela esiveni lesinengi kanti lokho kulandzela ukuthi kube nalenye imvotsa leshonelwe ngumfana wayo ngekumita kulenye tindzawo tengcebeleka sivike sibe nemibono leminengi ngalendzaba kwagcina sekuvela nendzaba yokuthi kumcoka ukuthi emaswati asaye letindzawo tengcebeleka ayati imitsetfo yekusebenta letindzawo noma ke texwayiso khokhwa ngiletindzawo phecelezi ema-disclaimers kanye nalama-forms lasayinwa ngiso sive sinemmeli Bhanyaza Mdluli lophindze abe ngusihlalo wenhlangano yabathengi kodwa ukhuluma ngalama-disclaimers kanye nje nebumcoka bekuthi siwafunze siwacondzisise kanye nekuthi uma ngabe sekwendeke isigameko salohlobo uthini umthetho asivusele babe Mdluli sabo ngokuthi ube nathi ngicanga ukuthi indzaba lebalekile lena lekumele vele ukuthi siyikhulume kakhulukati njengoba nje sive samaswati sitawuya kuyotijabulisa kuleti ndzawo especially because sekusonzela wona ama-holiday akhisimusi. I think ngifuna singene njikele ndzaba yema-disclaimers nasikhuluma nge-disclaimer iyini vele disclaimer, what should it include?
Ngibonge msakati ngicela ngikubingelela nawe ngibingelele nebabukeli emakhaya ngicabanga ukuthi kumbe sisengakaqali nje umuntu akacacise ukuthi umuntu aketilana ukuthi kumbe utoniketa illegal advice noma kumbe akhuluma ngendzaba letsite in particular. Ngicabanga ukuthi nje lana indzaba lesitawukhuluma ngayo indzaba yema disclaimer in general, asifuni noma kumbe angifuni bese sekungathi sengikhuluma ngendzaba letsite specifically, but nje we can only use lawo ma-facts aleyo situation lawo kwalapho lendzawo yendeke khona, but-ke angeke umuntu lana angeke akhulume ngendzaba letsite noma kumbe leyendekile. Nawukhuluma nje in general, ngithi angikucacise lokho, ngiphindze nami ngikhiphe i-disclaimer ukuthi konke lengikhuluma angikukhulumeli endzabeni leyendekile kule lebeselo siyibona kuma-social media umsakade.
Kanti mhlambe kusiniketa nje sithombe nje babe Mdluli ukuthi kahle kahle vele le disclaimer lesikhuluma ngayo yini, nekuthi yini kahle kahle mhlambe lama details lemile ukuthi ibe nawo ibonakale kanganani for sive samaswati upon arrival.
Ngibonge msakati, i-disclaimer notice sitawati lokuthi ivamise kutholakala kuma public places, ingivamisa isikhathi bakuma parking areas, utayithola kuma stadiums, utayithola kuma malls, utayithola etitolo, utayithola etindzaweni lapho khona kuye kuhlangane abantu. Ngithi nje angikucacise ukuthi kufaka i-disclaimer notice akusho ukuthi wena mnikati waleyo property noma wena lobukete leyo ndzawo sewungeke ubese soba liable if nangabe kuyabonakala ukuthi kukhona budlabha lobendekile, because i-determining factor lana ngilokuthi much as le notice uyifakile kude yini budlabha lekubonakala ukuthi wena ubendile wena mnikati waleyo ndzawo. Ngibekise nje msakati, i-negligence siyathi ukuthi naseyifika etindzaweni letitsite to establish ukuthi kube ne-negligence, ngidawucolisa nje kusebenzisa amagama utawuthola ukuthi athi lapha lati ngoba kulesinye isikhathi vele kude le indlela umuntu langabeka ngayo. I-test nje ngibekise ye-negligence, i-foreseeability ne-preventability, ukuthi wena mnikati wena ubonile yini ukuthi ikhona in-anticipation lebekhona lokuthi vele nangende lokhu vele kungandeka lokho, and then bese sekuba nale element ye-preventability. Ngimaphi ama-steps lowathathako to make sure ukuthi le ndzawo yakho ayifiki esigabeni lapho khona abantu labetako batikhanza ukuthi maybe kumbe sebayalimala. Ngibekise nje msakati kulamanye ama-jurisdictions noma kulamanye amave sethemba nyalo sicetha kuthola sicetha kukhetha, ngibekise esikhwahlande nje 2008 iParliament yakhona felt ukuthi nayo sesikhathi sekuthi i-addresswe mbamba le ndzaba yama-disclaimer notice such that yangena emthethweni wabo we-National Consumer Protection Act, section 41 and 49 in particular, lokuchazako lokuthi kuze wena mnikati wendzawo ube protected kunanati tintfo lekufanele ukuthi ubonakale lokuthi utifezile. Ngibekise nje lamanye ama-notice uthi uyafika noma kumbe kusemall noma ukhanze i-notice lencane lapha lengabonakali nekubonakala and ibekwe endzaweni lengabona nangumuntu. So tonke letintfo leto ngibekise nje kule ngicedza kube konke lokho kuyasho ukuthi nangumnikati wesitolo noma umnikati wama-premises kufunakala ukuthi ibeke ngakanani nale wedding yakhona le font, ukuthi lamagama abhaleke kanjani, and nalokuthi ke lokumcoka ingabi ngidawusebenzisa ligama lekuba ambiguous, ingabi ivakale lokuthi ithini, because i-requirement lekufanele ukuthi uyimithe wena ukuthi one kufunakala usile notice ibe clear, ungathi nje ngifaka i-notice ukuthi wonke umuntu longena lana ungena at his own risk. Ngiyiphi le risk lokhuluma ngayo? What if wena lana uthi umuntu ungena at his own risk, so create le risk. So i-determining factor kahle ngilokuthi have you created a new source of danger. Ngibekise nje ngidawubekisa la edolobheni masipala kukhona lapha lungisa khona kuphi imigotsi kuphi emalayini la edolobheni la kuhamba abantu khona nema-drain kumbe ulungisa i-drain. asuke lapho ashiye noma angabuyiseli lensimbi le na ngifike mina ngitihambela noma bani ngitihambela ngifike ngicumukele lapho ngiphukela inyawo lokho secreate ke a new source of danger noma ngabe kune ma notice lasho ukuthi udala imbabane edolobheni at your own risk noma ngabe kungaba nama notice la kanjani. So in other words I test ngilokuthi kubebede inibudlapha lobukhona.
Okay. So kuletinye tindzawo nje establishments lamaningi noma mhlambe letindzawo nje tengicebeleka tiba nalama forms lama indemnity forms lo sayinako ngaphambi kokuthi ungene. I think very uyagcwalisa imininingwane yakho usho ukuthi njengoba ushito nje ukuthi kunabo enter at your own risk, park at your own risk, but ke uma ngabe sekwendeke mhlambe sehlakalo sekube nengodi leyendekile sengisayinile le form lapha liyasho vele ukuthi konke lo takwenda noma ungendani noma ungalimala utatibona wena thina as the property owners or as the company we are not liable. What then happens nangabe sekwendeke lesehlakalo ingodi ngisayinile le indemnity form uthi nomthetho ngibando at fault.
Indemnity form ungayisayina msakati nani babukele emakhaya noma umnikati wenzawo angayisayina indemnity form yonke indzaba itekwa ngalama factual situations akhona. Ngibekise nje msakati ngiyafika ngisayina indemnity form ukuthi ngingena lana at my own risk kusuke lapho maybe kumbe kuse restaurant ngiyabekisa kunelibhodlela la gas lekuphekwa ngalo kuyabonakala ukuthi kuba nebudlapha noma liyalikhisha basi bayalayida libhome sishe noma bengilimale ebusweni noma ngife noma kwendeke ini lokho ngeke bese sokuthi hawu kungani wasayina vele ukuthi enter at your own risk. Lokho ngilele ngichaza kusho ukuthi sekucreateke a new source of danger once kwaba nale issue ukuthi sekwendeke ebudlapha lokuthitho kwaba nale negligence vele lapho you can't hide behind ubhace ngenzaba ye indemnity. Ngibekise nje kulenzaba le khona siyibonile ngicabanga ukuthi it is common cause ukuthi wonke umuntu uyibonile ukuthi cishe kwendekene. One would have expected ukuthi leyo nzawo leyo immediately kwendeka le nangileyo ibe coded in such a way ukuthi say scene of crime phela leyo sekukhona lokwendekile and siyeva lapha ukuthi kube nengadi leyo ngati leyo ngiyona le tawusebenza phela kutshengisa ukuthi vele le ikhona i-correlation yalo la soshonile nalokuthi ushonele vele kulenzawo lena because those are the issues lebe sicabanga ukuthi maybe kumbe nemaphoyisa atawufika ayivale lenzaba bese sekuyabuya kufike labo laba enda ema test noma lama investigators athathe lama samples enangu and bese sekuyabonakala ngoba njengoba ngisho ukuthi noma ngabe belisayiniwe leli form angeke angikhulumeli enzabeni le njani in particular but lokutawubonakala kufuna ukuthi kubonakale ukuthi nangabe maybe khona lo shelele wawo vele kunormal yini ukuthi vele lapha kuyasheleleka noma kumbe kukhona lapho bese noma sengithi kuma tiles khona lithile bese licacabukile such that umuntu na uthi unyathele kabi ushelele bese sowaka tonke letinto letodindzaba letingabe lesibheke ukuthi ngabe tivele kwakhodwa leyo nzawo leyo because leyo say accident scene noma ke scene of crime nabo ufuna kusho njalo. So ngiyacabanga lokuthi kumbe khona lapho lokungakana kumbe kuthatheke nje kwaba indzaba lencane only to find ukuthi sekuba khona lo lahlekelwako umtali
futhi kuyafanana nalabo park at your own risk lokuthi nakhona lapho kumele ukuthi vele property owner naye kube enesiqiniseko sokuthi indzawo yakhe iphephile mhlambe kuba bedene ihlahla letingahle tiwele etimotweni demakhasimende nakhona lapho ngabe umthetho uyibuka kanjani le
njengoba ngishilo umsade ekucaleni ukuthi le kufaka i-disclaimer akusiko absolute ukuthi lokhu sengifakele disclaimer whatsoever lokwendekako akusasiyo indzaba yakho. If nangabe kuyabonakala ukuthi ucreate a parking area and eceleni kwetihlahla it is your duty njengemnikati waleyo ndzawo to make sure ukuthi le ndzawo leyo letihlahla atibi risk unless ke sekufike bo hurricane imoya lemkhulu kuyabonakala ukuthi cha tisiphuke phasi vele takugcoba timoto, then that is another issue. But nje the bottom line ngilokuthi une-duty noma kufuna ukuthi wente siciniseko wena mnikati we-property in as much as uyifakile disclaimer notice, wente siciniseko sekuthi bonke bantfu labeta bato sebenzisa ama-services akho baba protected. Ngidawubekisa nje now apply li trading license vele usuku apply la kuthi utawuservice angeke ke usisoyitholile le license wena so uthi hey mina ngisathi umuntu uta kanzi uapply lapha wathi utosita sieve ufuna kwakha imall ufuna kwakha store ufuna kwenda in kuservice naso kuqalele soyitholile license so uthi hey mina ngisangenelana na akusebenzi kanjalo kufuna ukuthi nawe unayo le duty of care as umnikati walawo ma-premises to make sure ukuthi labantu labetala vele baba protected. Ungabe sesowubonakala ukuthi so-creator i-new source of danger. Ngibekise nje kumbe unetinja nathi leti lumanako kakhulu bathi ma-bolter angeke ukuthi enzaweni yakho kumbe indzawo yokutijabulisa so uyahlala letinja leto awutifaki lapho kufuna ukuthi igcine khona ngoba vele letinja leto siyatati ukuthi dangerous kuthi utati khipha nje wena lathi hlala khona bese setiyajangaza tilume abantu bese uthi hey ubhali usayinile lana wathi umlonge nako ungena at his own risk. So ngiko ngizama lokuchaza lokuthi so long as kubonakala lokuthi ku-create a new source of danger vele you will be held liable. Emacala ke semaningi lesike sawabona endeka and atewa vele ngendlela ukuthi once kwa establishwa lokuthi vele kube nebudlapha vele wena mnikati utaba liable.
Kuba khona indlela kutheni ngoba solo uyachaza nje ukhuluma ngayo i-source of danger kuba khona lapho khona vele kuba bedele source of danger vele liphutha libe ngala mhlambe kulelo khasmende.
The source of danger ayisiko general kufuna ukuthi kube a new source of danger because kusena kwendeka kube ngibe kusengenzaba kuthi masipala ulungisa umgwaqo noma ulungisa ema-drain so ushiya umgodi noma ushiya ungakabuyiseli kahle so lapho so create a new source of danger. Le danger maybe beyikhona but naso i-createile wena so sengilobudlapha losobendile so kumcoka lokuthi vele nangabe kukhona lobo ukwenda umake sure ukuthi naso ucetsile konke kubuyela esimeni sakhona msakade.
Nayo i-negligence yalo likhasimende kuyabuketwa konke ama-points ngala nangala engabe kuvama kanganani lokuthi vele kuyokhanza ukuthi vele cha likhasimende libe nayo le negligence.
Kuyadependa lama circumstances njengoba ngishilo msakade ukuthi yonke naleyo ndzaba itekwa ngema-factual situations akhona. Usene kwendeka ukhanze ukuthi nangabe kube khona abudlapha balelo customer kumbe lokho angeke kuye towards i-defense kuthi so ngabe sewena so uvika ngako wena mnikati wesitolo maybe sekutawuya nangaba sengibekisa indzaba seyisengandolo sekutawuya ngalokuthi so tati khalela naye lawyer athi hayi phela inganawo contributile nginako le bese kuthiwa i-contributory negligence kuthi phela nawe ucontributile nawe asibambisane kule nangabe kumbe bowufune 5 rand asibambisane nawe phela khipha nawe 2 rand nami ngikhiphe 3 rand bese siyabambisana lokho sikubona ke lokho like etindzabeni bo MVA nakuphi whereby ukhanze ukuthi nawe mshayeli ucontributile ukuthi kuze kube nalengodi le so nalapho kubuka lesimo salendzaba ukuthi lenzaba lena ibe kanjani and kude yini wena nawe lo unless nangabe kuyabonakala ukuthi wena vele ube part and parcel of the creation of leyo new source of danger, then that bese sekuyashintsha ke lapho sekuba i-defense lengasetshenziswa ngilawyer. lo mnikati wenza ukuthi ngibekise nje ukuthi ubhaka enzaweni livele lengabhakwa ngiyabekisa ukuthi kuyasho ukuthi lana akubhakwa uyafika wena uyabhaka noma ke lana ngibekise nje ngale kuthi kuze kuthi ashelele umntwana kuyabonakala ukuthi kube khona ukuthi ususe lawo ma-tiles kumbe wendeke ini noma kumbe wende ini, but it doesn't go towards i-defense ukuthi wena uliable wena mnikade wenanga sekutawuya lapho nasekubuka ukuthi luswati lutaba ngakanani bese uyatshweletela ke nawe uthi hayi phela naye lona ngeke ngife ngedwana ngoba phela naye bekane duty ukuthi ameke sure ukuthi naye uyawenda lokufanele ukuthi akwende kwelside kwakhe.
Okay. Ingabe etindzaweni lapho kude khona mhlambe lama disclaimer noma lama notices bese kwenteka mhlambe leyo ngoti bese kwentekani tikhona nivele mhlambe sicale lapho nje tikhona nivele tindzawo la ukhanza khona ukuthi kuba bede lama disclaimers noma lama notices.
Tikhona tiningi kakhulu ngiko vele siyathemba ukuthi emalunga ethu lamasha eParliament siyadzinga sibathengi or ema-consumers ukuthi vele lo mthetho i-Consumer Protection Act ibe khona angisiko sure ukuthi iyagcine ngoba ngayigcine solo kule parliament le phela ngayigcine solo kuthiwa iyana lengisho ngayo ukuthi khona i-consumer credit ya 2016 le i-consumer protection besolo sikhulumisa neminisi ukuthi siyacela phela ukuthi some of letinto njengalamanye letinye tindzawo lamanye mave vele emalunga seParliament sasetinyathelo ukuthi akangene siyati ukuthi as a consumer unelungelo ema-consumers anemalungelo lamaningi one of them the right to information, 2 the right to redress ngidawusho nje lacisha be relevant kulesikhuluma ngako la kuthi you have a right as a consumer to be informed ngaloku khona and futhi unelungelo as a consumer futhi kuthi uthole sincephetelo i-redress nangabe kuyabonakala ukuthi kukhona lapho kungakahambi khona so tonke letinto leto siyawudzinga lo mthetho ukuthi uintervene ube specific sito sevana inangikhona le ngomthetho ba kune principle of legality lesho ukuthi yonke kuze kuthi kube vele kufanele ukuthi kube nekuphula kwemthetho so nawo lo mthetho siyawudzinga lokuthi ube specific vele ukuthi nakubonakala ukuthi kukhona longakendi lekufanele ukuthi akwena vele umthetho uthatha indzawo yayo noma ke kube nalendlela yokuthi ngicephethe kanjani mina njengemthengi.
Okay, kokugcina nje Mdluli sifuna ukuva nje ukuthi mhlambe nangabe umthengi noma ke consumer ibhekana nje netimo leti njengaleti seyivelele dehlakalo yenda njani what's the step nje lekumele ithathe mhlambe ifuna advice ifuna ukukhulumisana nani yini lemele yenda
njengoba ngisho thina as Consumer Association solo siyedama sesedamile futhi nekuthi sikhulumisana nahulumende ukuthi si-establishe kube i-Consumer Association for instance i-pressure group being a pressure group ngilapho khona le sita nje i-advice abantu but what we have done kune Competitions Commissions Act ya 2007 lokwendekile kune department yaka Consumer Affairs leyo i-Competitions Commissions yathi ukuthi i-establishwa ngumthetho wa 2007 and lo ke kusho ukuthi sekunalamatinyo emthetho ukuthi nangabe ngiyi-consumer ngakhona ukuthi ngihambe ngiye lapha ku department ngicele i-department yaka Consumer Affairs bangiside but ke thina siyinhlangano siyafuna lokuthi vele kube nale consumer le Consumer Act vele letawuniketa the act ngoba lo lalamanye ematiko ukhanza ukuthi vele kuba i-side issue maybe is a department but there is a need like boSkhwahlande whereby vele kunale consumer establishment le make sure ukuthi vele ibukane specifically na all consumer related issues so siyathemba ke sitawulobhisha nakumalunga twaseParliament ukuthi sibuye sikulungise lokho sesilobhishile tinzaweni letiningi ngibekise nje lamuhla sinaye Eswatini Standards Authority kwaba ilobby ye-Consumer Association sinayo i-Competitions Commission 2007 nayo kwaba kulobhisha ukuthi asibe ne-institution letawuthi kungabi nje ukuthi labathengisako ba charge ama-prices willy nilly i-Consumer Association le ndalo ngabala ngingacetsile tindzaba lestendi lesiyinhlangano and futhi sibambisana naye uhulumende ngoba lesikwenda ukuthi we lobby the relevant Ministry of Enterprise and Employment we lobby ukuthi siyacela ukuthi kube ne-establishment le kanje ngibekise nje niyalo kuyabonakala ukuthi kunesidingo se-advertising agents noma-ke i-parastatal letawubuka ukuthi lokhu advertisewako kahle kungiko yini ngibekise lomunye labanye sibabonile bakhe ama-competition ba-advertise ukuthi na uthenga lana utawuthola imoto in bangasho ukuthi le moto le competition lena kahle ya the whole of Southern Africa. So wena lana siyathenga siyabhuduka siyahamba siyothenga lana kanti leyo nangileyo letimoto letikhona tikhombithelwa onke lamave la eSouthern Africa. That information ibe hidden kudiscover sekuwina ukuthi hawule ibe sesewina Eastern Cape ngiyabekisa ibe sesewina kuphi la. So naloku advertise ukuthi la kithi wonke umuntu uya advertise kude le ndlela yokuthi u-advertiser in such a way yokuthi ungamislead lesive ngoba na utothi nje we are the best in whatever kahle ngibani wake kwaba khona yini kuncutselana ukuthi so that's wena now advertiser so yana maybe you advertiser la emsakateni wetithombe kumbe ku radio noma kumbe phepheni kuthi hey wena vele inkukhu yakho nawudle yona ukwendeka ini. Those are the small things lesingadibuki lesicabanga ukuthi kumbe kuyahlekiswa kunye na advertiser kuhlekwe kephana letinto tiya deep ngoba you are actually misleading lesive in a polite way to say nawudle lokhu udaba kanje siyakhumbula nakucala bengina ukuthi na ubhemile kusingithono ubanjani ugibela ibhanoyi kwasithize vele nje kube uyakhumbula sisakhula mos. So nalana ngicabanga ukuthi iyadzinga ke ukuthi sibe nayo le advertising agency letawubuka lokuthi kahle nangabe nje sithi ngapani letimbila sengiside tincingo nasengi advertiser mina ngithi tincingo tethu tinjani as against lo munye ufuna usabe nelungelo ukuthi hayi phela ungasho nje na kokucala nami phela ngeke the same industry asikake sesinqutselane ukuthi wena so ungathi wena you are the best in this ngizama nje kubekisa ukuthi some of the things vele umsebenzi usasemutse satawulo bisha nakuma MPs langenile nakuma bo minister silobhisha vele ukuthi sibe nato tonke letinto to make sure ukuthi iyabalanceka emalungelo ema consumers ayabalanceka.
Okay, no, thank you so much. Isibakhulu baba Mdluli isikhathi sakho mbukeli besikhulumisana naye chairperson we-Eswatini Consumers Association ngema disclaimer notices for consumers. Let's take a break so we need insabati sengisi.
We at Eswatini Television Authority are committed to observing the Eswatini Communication Commission's Broadcasting Code of Conduct.
Under the code, we are committed to broadcast news that is current, free from hate speech, accurate, balanced, and fair.
From politics to business, health, agriculture, courts, and global news, we bring you the latest updates as they happen, when they happen.
We cover all the sporting codes from the football pitch to the chessboards.
This is Eswatini TV News.
Welcome back. This is the news. His Majesty King Mswati III has urged the Kusile business community to work collectively and come up with ideas on how to create more employment opportunities for Eswatini. The King revealed this during the Kusile business community dinner that was held at Mbangweni Royal Residence.
His Majesty King Mswati III, Her Majesty the Queen Mother and the royal family graced the Kusile business community dinner. The business dinner, which was hosted by Build It Eswatini, created an opportunity for His Majesty the King, government and the Kusile business community to deliberate on how to develop the business sector in the region. It was also a suitable chance for the business industry to inform and describe to His Majesty about their business opportunities and challenges they come across on a daily basis as they continue with their work. Addressing the gathering, His Majesty King Mswati III thanked chiefs and parents for the attendance of the returns by the Medians. His Majesty said it is pleasing to see young people preserving and enjoying cultural events. The King applauded the Kusile business community for coming up with this event, which occurs annually. His Majesty says it is great assistance to the business society and the region as a whole. His Majesty has encouraged the business community in the Kusile region to assist the government in reducing unemployment rate in the country by creating job opportunities for Eswatini.
Siyakhuthaza embongisomabhizinisi nembala kwekuthi balibambise live kakhulu esigabeni sekwakheni imisebenzi yanze eveni kutovela emathuba ikakhulu alaba lababonalako ukuthi emathuba ekuthi bathola umsebenzi solo abawatholi bakhona lokhanzali sakwe ukuthi siwazi umthala ungakanani akutekele ukuthi akazange asayosebenza akazange asahole akazange sekube njani ubone ukuthi kuba impilo lebhlungu nalelikhuni leyo bekunene lokubese kuyasikhumbuta ke ngamunye singemaswati ukuthi ke awulo naloyo unemsebenzi lafanele awende esigabeni sekwakheni umsebenzi nemathuba eveni bekunene lobulukhuni lobu ngize ngikubone noma senda imisebenzi nje lokube sigitsa lapha sithi sisagitsa awu thuke sobona lomunye asayideka awu mina ngithi umsebenzi awu lo sisiyagitsa awu avela bese uthatha lelo thuba lokuthi utawuphinza lithole lelinye lithuba nanyalo bengibuka tethulo nje ngithi tengise basangethule cha cha naye uthi ubika sethulo kepha wasothi ha kunalenye indzaba lafuna kuyibika indzaba ukuthi ushoda umsebenzi uyabona ukuthi laba baze bathatha amathuba lawa ngulesimo abatendi nase basicebetile ke lesimo nabasicebete enkosini basuke basicebete emaswadini onke afanele athathe ke responsibility ekutheni sibone ukuthi bonke laba tibikako ngaloluhlobo akusho ukuthi kumbe ungathi kumbe banani ngoba bathi nemntwana longakhali ufela embelekweni kuloku tibika kwabo banyenti labangabe batibika labanye batibamba labanye bayabona nangathi bambi ngidawuze ngifele embelekweni yolingenani angifanele ngilahle emathambo konke lokho kukhombisa lesimo sekufanele sisende sekutheni kufanele sisende kangakanani imisebenzi eveni ebekunene.
The acting Prime Minister Chief Mkwakwa Gamete said this event has seen the birth of numerous business opportunities and also boosted a thriving networking system amongst business associates in Kusile region and countrywide.
We appreciate your active role in the growth and development of the local business sector. Selva, through your leadership, we have seen the region develop into a vibrant destination of choice, particularly around this time of the year, Your Majesty.
Speaking on behalf of the Shiselweni business community, Sam Isa Bildit, Eswatini managing director, said, as the business society, they recognize and applaud the King's desire and efforts to get the country and Eswatini to a better future of stable economical and social prosperity.
When our Pagat, we recognize and applaud your desire and efforts to get this country and its people to a better future of a stable political and socio-economic prosperity. We consider ourselves blessed with the caliber of leadership that you continue to display. We note that your leadership is driven by a unique compulsion to achieve success on your plans. And this is quite motivational to us in the business community.
The Shiselweni business community proposed a toast to His Majesty's 55th birthday and also wished Their Majesties long life and prosperity. The occurrence was then followed by the cutting of the cake by His Majesty. On the news, I'm Polile Mazia at Mbangweni Rare Residence.
The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Sydney Similani, says public and private tractors are tested and ready to service farmers. The PS says there are 341 functional tractors.
The Kingdom of Eswatini has recorded the first rains of the summer season, with the Ministry of Agriculture encouraging farmers to waste no time and plough. The PS in the Ministry of Agriculture, Sydney Similani, says the ministry has tested public and private tractors and they are ready to kick off the farming season.
Siyabonga kakhulu, siyathemba ukuthi amaswati atawuqhubeka emasimini. Kubeke ne-concern ngendzaba yetigulumba ukuthi tigulumba time njani tona. Singasatisa nje sive ukuthi sesivele sesiqalile kulima. Tigulumba sinale tinhlobo letimbili, kusho ukuthi sinye inhlobo yokuqala tigulumba tahulumende leti ku-NMC. Kwesibili bese kuba-ke tigulumba tema-private tractor owners. Leto-ke siyaticasha nato sibe nebudlelwane noma leyo contract lesiyendako nemnikati wesigulumba bese bayahamba-ke bayolimela sive. Lo sikhuluma nje timvula setiqalile tigulumba tisemasimini kuyasebenteka umsebenzi uqhubeka kahle kakhulu.
The Ministry of Agriculture reports that functional government tractors are at 153 and private tractors with contracts are 183, whereas farmers have already collected their farming imports. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samkal Swekoza, Mbabane.
Seeing the growing number of children and youth admitted at the correctional services, the department has conducted a training on how best officers can handle conflicts at the juvenile correctional centers. Speaking at the George Hotel during the training, the Commissioner General Lamakosini Dlamini says despite the department's efforts to ensure the children's welfare, some have thrived whilst some have not been able to cope because of anger and boredom.
The Commissioner General says some children end up at the correctional centers as a result of bad influence from older people. She says some end up dragged into drug addiction. She further urges everyone to play their role in ensuring the younger generation stays out of correctional centers.
Nakubabona nale behavior yabo masebala ngekhasi ukuthi kuthatha isikhathi ukuthi kufanele kuphumele ejamva la emtimbeni wabo. So mabalakithi mabahleli nathi mabakhona sabasakutholi zokucabanula kuyaba sithi bese kuyaphuma kuba nema-withdrawal symptoms lokhanza singafuna sesibanisane nebetempilo nabo babe khona lokho ukuthi sizame sivenda njani nabo bantwana. Angisho lokho ukuthi vele ku-insa yethu sonke silive le maswati sibatali sisive lokho singabe sibenda njani labantwana ukuthi singabe sibavimba njani labantu labathengisela abantwana kona leti dzakamuva ngoba phela sona i-future yabo labantwana.
The director of the Children's Department at the Deputy Prime Minister's Office, Mhambi Ndlangamandla, says all community members have a responsibility to interact positively with children.
According to the Children's Protection and Welfare Act, Section 18, parents have the responsibility of ensuring that every child grows up in the family and is well guided so that the child doesn't find himself or herself in conflict with the law. In cases whereby the parent will be away, for example, these days we know that everybody is at work. You go early in the morning and you come back very late. That is where the extended family must come in. That is where the community must come in.
Judicial officers have also been trained on handling court cases involving children. The numbers of children and youth housed at the correctional services could not be ascertained, as the communications officer, Kusile Dlamini, says sharing these numbers is against the department's policy. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Smuva Shongwe, Mbabane.
World Vision, in partnership with Congo, held a health activation day with SANU students, where they were educating the students on minimizing the spread of HIV and reversing its impact on society.
As part of its programs to educate tertiary students on HIV, World Vision, in partnership with Congo, held the health activation, halting the spread of HIV and reversing its impact, subject with SANU students. This is a program currently running in other tertiary institutions as well in the country. Stembili Dlamini, the World Vision project coordinator, says they have targeted first-year students who are not exposed to university life to educate them in making the right decisions.
Kunaletinkhomba tekuthi kulamantombazana lelesikushito wathi HIV incidence. Gibo solo mani siyazama but solo kuyavela kungakho ke World Vision nekubambisene bakhango yathi asasidlale naye inzima la ikakhulukati kulamantombazana siwabuke kuze ukuthi nawo utoncipha leli zinga lekuthi kubhebhedeleke ligciwane kubo.
She says they aim to equip them with knowledge on HIV-related issues. Ngabisa Sihlangu, the Health and HIV Programs Manager at World Vision, says first years can make the wrong choices if not guided. Thus, such programs.
Probably sometimes young people are unable to handle independence and they might find themselves in risky relationships. They were just here to discuss and also equip them on how they can navigate through their first year without contracting HIV or without involving themselves in very risky behaviors.
Samgelo Vilagati, a student, says HIV is common amongst her peers. Such an opportunity gives and allows them to speak out on issues bothering their health.
Most often they are they're shy to just come forward and talk about these topics freely. So they find themselves shying away and but they feel like we're alone in this. But these educational services, they teach us we are not alone in this.
The youth aged 15 to 49 contracted HIV previously. Eswatini was the first country to achieve the 95 goal, meaning there are now fewer new infections than before. For Eswatini TV News, MKN Msibi with Skumbuzo Dlamini, Manzini.
Over 4,000 UNESWA students will graduate this coming Saturday, the 21st of October. The Registrar of the University of Eswatini, Dr. Salebona Simelane, says they are very excited to have the graduation after a long time.
We have 4 different groups that will be graduating on the day. It's the group that completed their studies in 2019, 2020, and those that completed in 2020, 2021, and that's the third group completed in 2021, 2022, and now we also have a portion of those who are completing in the academic year 2022, 2023. Those that finish their studies at the end of the first semester will also be expected to take part in this colorful event.
4,442 students will be graduating under different categories this coming Saturday. The university pleads with all students to wear formal wear or be clad in their traditional attire. It is expected that the event will be graced by the Chancellor of the University, His Majesty King Mswati III. Preparations are already at an advanced stage inside the premises of the university in preparation for the big day. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian Msibi with Skumbuzo Dlamini, Gwaluseni.
The science, technology, engineering and mathematics sector, also known as STEM, the Real Science and Technology Park continues to host a yearly expo meant to educate learners, especially girls, on STEM. Communications Officer at RSTP, Senzo Malaza, says this expo scheduled for late this month has been a result of research which indicates that there will be growth in job opportunities in STEM in the coming years.
We want to make sure that our kids can play a role as the world is developing towards science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You will remember that while due to automation, while the rest of job opportunities may decline, but research has shown that jobs related to STEM will actually be on the rise by at least 8%. So we are trying to build that capacity. We're trying to encourage our students to look into STEM as possible career paths.
The Director of Women in Engineering Eswatini, Bongegile Mathenjwa, says women in the STEM industry still remain underrepresented.
We as Women in Eswatini, we believe that as we share more information and opportunities about STEM, we will then be able to have more girls participating in the STEM field in order to close out the gender gap.
According to Women in Engineering Eswatini, women in the STEM sector remain under 30%, which has seen the need for more awareness. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Langamandla, Smova Shongwe, Matapa.
Limpopo University commemorated Mental Health Day on Tuesday, where invited speakers from different organizations who educated the students on different mental health topics.
As part of commemorating the Mental Health Month, the Limpopo University of Creative Technology commemorated the Mental Health Day by inviting speakers from different organizations, including the police and financial advisors, amongst others, to share ideas on mental health. This follows an increasing number of university students who have committed suicide due to different reasons, including depression. Fisoguhle Mzabele, the founder of the United Against Depression, elaborated on how to assist people with depression and, of course, how to identify someone who is undergoing depression.
They start to withdraw from their social activities, they change in their patterns, daily habit patterns, they start to isolate themselves, some start to be more aggressive and be more defensive. So you can help those people by talking to the nearest health specialist, or you just talk to those people, you engage with them, you try to create the safe haven for them so that they can speak out to you.
Muzmas Lela from the health desk at the university says they monitor closely the mental health status of the students who find themselves having hard time to cope, especially with their modules, amongst other things.
We've got counseling sessions that we usually provide to students who rather need to talk to someone, because we recognize that in such an environment there are a lot of stressors that can hinder their mandate inside the university.
This year's theme is Mental Health is a Universal Right. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kiani Msibi at the Limpopo University, Eswatini.
And in international news, after an airstrike killed hundreds of people in a Gaza hospital, Israel, Hamas and the Islamic Jihad all denied responsibility on Wednesday while blaming each other for the attack.
The smoke clears from the carnage at Gaza's Al-Ahli hospital. The blame game over the deadly bombing continues. Hamas says Israeli airstrikes are to blame for the deaths of several hundred Palestinians. Israel's Defense Force, though, says it was a misfired rocket by Islamic Jihad, a separate Palestinian militant group. To bolster their intelligence assessment, the IDF on Wednesday released an audio recording purporting to be two Hamas militants discussing the blast.
Hamas checked the reports, understood it was an Islamic Jihad rocket that had misfired, and decided to launch a global media campaign to hide what really happened. They went as far as inflating the numbers of casualties. The size of the damage we see here is due to the warhead of the Islamic Jihad rocket, but most of the rocket's propellant is still evident due to the short flight of the rocket because the launch failed.
The Islamic Jihad group has swiftly denied responsibility, saying the scale of the explosion and angle of the bomb's fall pointed to Israeli weaponry. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, however, repeated his army's assessment, evoking a strong rebuttal from the Palestinian ambassador to the United Nations.
Now they change the story to try to blame the Palestinians. It is a lie, and the Israeli spokesperson of the army, about a week ago, made a statement in which he said, evacuate the hospitals are target, and in fact they hit one hospital a week ago.
For now, none of the claims from either warring faction can be independently verified. Little solace to those in Gaza who have already lost so much from the blast.
Hundreds of Palestinians flooded the streets of major West Bank cities, including Ramla. Outrage over the hospital explosion scuttled Biden's plans to visit Jordan, where King Abdullah II had planned to host meetings with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
They chanted slogans calling for the fall of President Mahmoud Abbas and for fighting fire with fire. Palestinian protesters flooded the streets of major West Bank cities, including Ramallah, outraged after Gaza's deadliest day. The Israeli military says a misfired rocket by Palestinian militants hit the Ahli Arab hospital, but Palestinians blamed an Israeli airstrike for the blast, which killed hundreds.
Just now, up of 1,000 casualties, all of them of civilians who were displaced from the north, and they have nowhere to go except to be in the garden and the yard of the hospital. Totally were killed. So I asked President Abbas to postpone or to cancel his meeting with Biden and to come back. And when Biden will enforce Israel to stop its aggression, he can meet with them.
Mahmoud Abbas, whose Palestinian Authority exercises limited autonomy in parts of the West Bank, is also a target of protesters' anger. He did pull out of his meeting with Joe Biden, scheduled for Wednesday in Jordan.
In light of the calamity that occurred and out of concern for our people, I have decided to cut short my visit and return to my homeland to be with my people in this great ordeal. I have also agreed with our brothers in Jordan and Egypt to cancel the scheduled summit in Amman today with U.S. President Joe Biden.
Protesters in Ramallah, the seat of the Palestinian Authority, called on West Bankers to rise. They hurled stones at Palestinian security forces, who responded with tear gas and stun grenades to disperse them. In Hebron, protesters carried Hamas flags. And clashes also broke out in the cities of Nablus, Tubas and Jenin, highlighting the long simmering Palestinian anger against Abbas, whose forces have faced criticism for coordinating with Israel on security in the territory.
President Joe Biden touched down in Israel on Wednesday for a diplomatic scramble to prevent the war with Hamas from spiraling into an even larger conflict, a challenge that became more difficult as outrage swept through the Middle East over an explosion that killed hundreds in a Gaza Strip hospital.
Hours after the strike on a Gazan hospital, President Biden said he was outraged and saddened by the loss of civilian life, though confirmed he'd still be visiting Israel to show unequivocal U.S. backing. The hospital strikes, now the conflict's bloodiest single bombing on Gaza so far, have triggered condemnation from several international bodies. In Brussels, the European Union reiterated it supports Israel's right to self-defense, though within the confines of international law.
And an attack against a civilian infrastructure is not in line with international law.
The World Health Organization strongly condemned the attack, which it called unprecedented in scale, and urged for humanitarian legal protection of healthcare services.
WHO calls for the immediate active protection of civilians and healthcare. International humanitarian law must be abided, by which means healthcare must be actively protected and never targeted.
Other international voices were more critical of Israel. Standing with the Arab United Nations envoys, Palestine's UN ambassador said they were unified in their call for Israel to be held accountable.
We hold Israel responsible for this massacre, this crime, and those responsible for this crime should face justice and should face accountability.
Israel and Hamas have traded blame for the strikes, with Israel claiming Palestinian Islamic Jihad militants were responsible, a claim the group has denied as lies.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin places more than 2,000 military personnel on heightened alert this week with a prepare to deploy order. The Pentagon tells VOA that should the president activate the units, they will boost the U.S. military's air defenses, medical and logistical capabilities, and intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance abilities in the Middle East.
Another American carrier strike group speeds toward the region. The USS Dwight D. Eisenhower aircraft carrier will join the USS Gerald R. Ford carrier strike group that's locked and loaded in the eastern Mediterranean.
Our main goal by positioning not one, but a second carrier will be there soon is to send a message of deterrence, to say to actors in the region who think that they might want to take advantage of this conflict, do not do that.
Sailors aboard the USS Ford, America's biggest and baddest warship, had been wrapping up their 6-month deployment. Now, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has extended the deployment of the Ford, along with the cruiser and destroyer ships sailing with it, without stating an end date. 3 ships with the USS Bataan Amphibious Ready Group are positioning thousands of Marines in waters near Israel. Marines able to penetrate hostile territory or provide medical care and assistance. A squadron of A-10 attack aircraft has arrived in the Middle East, with another A-10 squadron's deployment extended. And more F-15 and F-16 fighter jets also are rolling in, as concerns grow that Hezbollah could join the fight from the north once an expected ground invasion of Gaza begins.
Hezbollah has something like 200,000 rockets and missiles. The ability to strike those positions would be incredibly important. These force packages create that opportunity or that option.
In addition to boosting its military presence, the U.S. has sent at least 5 C-17s carrying military aid for Israel Defense Forces.
We are certainly giving Israel the security assistance it needs to take out and to effectively push back on Hamas in Gaza. Again, I will reiterate as many times as you want. That does not mean the killing of innocent civilians.
U.S. defense officials say the administration is providing Israel with precision munitions and interceptor missiles for its Iron Dome air defense system, with more to come.
We begin our sports roundup with the official introduction of 2 workshops this coming weekend, one being a sports administration of 4 days from the 21st at Olympia Africa, where sports officials, coaches, teachers and journalists will be capacitated under the National Olympic Academy. The second one will have Athletes Commission taking 1 day at the George Hotel with different issues will be discussed.
We begin our sports roundup with the official introduction of 2 workshops this coming weekend, one being a sports administration workshop of 4 days from the 21st at Olympia Africa, where sports officials, coaches, teachers and journalists will be capacitated under the National Olympic Academy. The second one will have Athletics Commission taking 1 day at the George Hotel on Saturday, where different issues will be discussed to assist different athletes whenever they are away on competitions.
We are going to be having 2 facilitators. Sitobe sinaye Magepel Dlamini, lophinze abe ngiyo i-board member yakayiwoka. Lotobanjiswa nguThoba Mazibuko. Thoba ke siyamathi sonke kwekuthi ngu-Chief Operations Officer Eswatini Athletics.
The 2 chairpersons of both bodies detailed on the importance of these workshops.
We want our members to be capacitated and nabumqoka beku-involve labo school head teachers. Sifuna ukuthi le gospel yale Olympics ikhona kungena letikolweni.
Together, we also discuss important topics such as safeguarding life after sport, because as athletes, we can't play or swim or run forever. We need to prepare for our future. I'm leaving one example as I'm retiring next year. I'm already starting preparing for my future. I've done level 1 coaching so that when I'm done running, I'll be part of the sport or the community.
And in our international news, South African cricket national team faced their first defeat in this year's World Cup cricket tournament that is taking place in India when losing 38 runs against Netherlands. And their next encounter will be against England on Saturday. And under the Rugby World Cup that is ongoing in France, ahead of the two titanic rugby semi-final clashes, that one will be played on Friday, another on Saturday. The two referees that will be officiating the games have been revealed. Angus Gardner from Australia will officiate New Zealand against Argentina on Friday, while Ben Okofe will officiate England against the defending champion South Africa on Saturday. For Eswatini TV Sports, Robinson Sonera, Babane.
It's 29 minutes before 8 o'clock. We've come to the end of our English bulletin. Thank you for staying with us. Let's take a break. We'll be back.
Let me tell you about my crush. Ngenzane inhliziyo yami embi kwakho njengesidanga.
Ngondlo yesiswati.
It is 3 in the afternoon. We are back in the living.
For men are so kind towards creation more than they even were to their own creator.
I am the greatest of this generation. They'll be calling me the girl who made poetry look cool, yo. Cool.
What do you think the best part of traveling is? Is it the food, or is it the conversation, or is it the sights and sound? If you're ready to explore, we are ready to show you the best way how. We'll give you access to the best luxury getaway sites in the Kingdom of Eswatini, and of course show you vacation sites that suit your budget, because you do not need a lot of money to actually have a great time. Join us on the next adventure on Buhle Bethu, only on Eswatini TV.
Minutes after 7 kwalomhla siphinze sikwamukele ehlelweni tincwaningo tesimo semdlavuza lapha eveni dikhomba ukuthi bantu labangeduli kwemakhulu lasihlanu labatholakala banamdlavuza labacaningwa ke luhlangothi lwe Eswatini National Cancer Control Unit labangemakhulu lamane bashiya emhlabeni kanti ke ngeminyaka wa 2020 labangemakhulu lamathathu nemashumi lamane nakunye bekungu labanemdlavuza wemlomo wesibeletho. Asixoxisane na Dr. Lowati kabanti ngetindzaba temdlavuza Dr. Teleko Maseko kulandzela ukuthi elangeni la itolo kuphume i-report ngamane nje ngisakuvusela i-report ye ukuthi senisebenze kangakanani nge-HPV vaccination. Ngiyakhumbula ngenyanga yenhlaba it was June, I believe it was 13 June. Nanicala nje officially ukuthi seniyaphuma vele niyahamba esikolweni. Nanisitshelile nanisidlalele nje vele ukuthi yini ama-aspirations enu mayelana nekujova abantwana esikolweni. Inombolo nathi beka, I think it was around is it 82%? 82,000 lokhu population yabo.
Yes.
Am I correct? Yes. Itolo nesinika sithombe sekuthi senjove 49,245. That's a great achievement nosibuka ukuthi it's 5 months. Engabe nifike kanjani kulesigaba lesi ukuthi ke nisaphokophelele kulo 82,000 which nangishaya ibala the balance is 32,754. If you've achieved this in 5 months, surely this could be achieved in 4 or 5 again.
Thank you sivusele kumsakade ekhaya sivusele kuwo umsakade sivusele kubalaleli. Sibonga kakhulu ukubambisana kakhulu kusolo wasuka lo mkhankaso ukuthi bantwana bagomise emdlavuzo womlomo wesibeletho. Njoba usho nje umsakade ukuthi cha sekusebenzekile kuyasebenzeka kiwembili kuqhutsheka kiwembili. Kungafuna nje ukudlulisa kubonga kakhulu kuze ukuthi sifike inombolo lethu kudlulisa kubonga etikweni letemfundo na education and training sidlulisa kubonga phinde futhi nakubatali ukuthi bantwana abaveta babalethe emtholampilo ukuthi bagomele emdlavuzo womlomo wesibeletho. Kubambisana kakhulu ngale nhlanganiso etimbili engitishoko ngiko lokwenta ukuthi sikhone ukuthi litiko letempilo si-achieve le magnitude lesesifike kiyo. Njengoba ukukhumbula nje umsakade ukuthi sasho vele ukuthi i-target yethu ukuthi sifune sijove abantwana abang-82,000 labasukela eminyakeni loku-9 kuya ku-14 leyo kune-target age group lekhona eveni. Awusilive vele siyabona siyaqhubeka sesi-achievile 60% coverage walabo bantwana labo. Sisaqhubeka nje nekugomisa abantwana sibonile phinde futhi bethi khona ama-sensitization lebengakhona eveni lokufaka ekhathi kufundisa abadali kufundisa labantwana ukuthi kahle yini ema-benefits yini kahle ukuthi lo mjovo usita kuphi emfaneni akagomela umdlavuzo womlomo wesibeletho. Sikubone kakhulu ke lokho msakadini nakusukuma nje i-International Trade Fair kaNgwane. Sina into ngeshow ke nakhona beyikhona information desk bekhona nokuthi kufundiseke abadali ba-understand kahle ukuthi yini i-HPV vaccine and what are the benefits. Kusijabulise kakhulu ke silitiko letempilo sibona ukuthi badali cha bebavele babaletha abantwana eshowini bagome sithi hawu babonakala ukuthi badali esinye isikhathi lababe bangakagomi abantwana nakuvulwe isikole babona bomcoka nabafika eshowini bakhona ku-understanda kangcono lapho khona sabona inombolo tikhulu abagoma abantwana.
Yeah. Indzaba yokuthi senifike na ku-trade fair. Initially when you started nanitsevele ndawucala esikolweni. I think this is telling me ukuthi le phase yetikolo seniyaphuma kuyo noma itawuchubeka but seniyafuna nangena nakuletinye tinhlangothi. Engabe ikhona invele leyo strategy sokuthi nyalo bantwana sebangajova nakuletinye tindzawo just outside of schools.
Uteka yona msakati kunjalo asiphume etikolweni ngoba vele primary target yethu isetikolweni. Yes ke but kuqhubeka kakhona kugomisa akungeke kumele ukuthi uzofune ukuthi uye esikolweni. Nema facilities la khona events aqalile ukugomisela abantwana umdlavuzo womlomo wesibeletho. Lapho khona sikhuthatha abatali nangabe loyo mbano sengagomi kanti kule minyaka lengu9 kuya ku14 kuthi manje absonto avete umntwana kumtholampilo akhona ukugomela lona umdlavuzo womlomo wesibeletho. Sitatibona tithelo kuhambeni weminyaka nasigomisa nyalo abantwana njengoba udlalile sithombe ukuthi umdlavuzo womlomo wesibeletho ngabe uhamba afike kuphi kaNgwane. Lokugomisa kuyasita ukuthi silive ukuthi emva kweminyaka lethite lahambile ngibekise mhlawumbe iminyaka lengu10 sathi siyabuka mhlawumbe hawo ingabe umdlavuzo womlomo wesibeletho sithombe sime kanjani evele khanzakale ukuthi sithombe semdlavuzo womlomo wesibeletho sitombolo setedlile ngoba phela senda nakugomisa abantwana eminyakeni lelishumi ngaphambili.
Eswatini being amongst emave with the highest cervical cancer rates in the world, I believe Lokshogo is a proactive step. Yes, we may not see the fruits kusasa or next year, but understanding ukuthi isebenza kanjani le mijovo ne-cancer, ne-cervical cancer, noma ngithi nje i-cancer, ukuthi isebenza kanjani. Surely this will help us in the long run. Sisibone sesingabi amongst the top rated. Not to a top rated ngivame kuba in a positive light. But lana the top rated ekutheni cervical cancer yethu ilapha etulu. What are we seeing in relation to other countries? I remember South Africa rolled out HPV vaccine a couple of years ago, and death at number drastically. I believe there was another African country in the southern African region. I may not remember. Is that what we're expecting as Eswatinians?
Sibuke lelo goal lelo objective yethu sifuna kube njalo vele Eswatini, and sabona sa-achieve lo objective yethu le Eswatini, sitbona ngenombolo vele yehla le burden of disease yehla, and investment in terms of the cancer aspects, then it will be also directed to other spectrum of the cancer care, ukuthi kukuphi ke lapho vele njalo kufuneka ukuthi sifake tisita khona kakhulu. Ukhumbule nje sifika nje sikhona khona nyalo silive sibuke ekuthenini sifune nathi silive sithi aligninile, because then kwaba i-global call yamhlabuhlangene wathi ke kufuneka kule minyaka le kuthiwa ngi-2030 kube kusekuthiwa sengu-0 cervical cancer cases emaveni. So silive la kangwane lokhu siqale nyalo siyambona 2030 nangududane sitawendeka ukuthi hawu nasifika ku-2030 nasilive likhona ekumemetela ukuthi Eswatini has achieved the global call that has been set by WHO.
Let's talk about the concern lebeyikhona nanicala kurolauta le vaccine, particularly from Batali, and sanibalo ukuthi you are very much proactive ekutheni nifuna labatali kuba sensitizer ungafiki lo mjovo ekutheni bantwana bajove ema effects. Well, with any vaccine angaba khona, but you were not anticipating ukuthi angaba khona la adverse. You've been at it for 5 months now. Ngabe nithola isithombele sikanjani with regards to MI effects?
No, MI effects in terms of adverse events, in terms of the vaccine rollout, they are very, very minimal. With any severe adverse events, that's what since the inception yale rollout HPV vaccine. Kuba khona nje batali yonke into nayifika isha athi umtali ingabe kwemaqiniso akuhambe umgakanani ke bese ke batali bayafunza bese kungikhani ke ukuthi ke leyo source ayifundzile kungikhani abaconvince ukuthi cha vele lokusho litiko letempilo kungiyo. Labanye batali bathi singakhuluma selitiko letempilo bakusukumela etulu ngoba vele bayathemba ukuthi thina lesilitiko letempilo we give the accurate information for the benefit of the well-being of the population. So kuba tinto leti kanjalo kepha silitiko letempilo asimi ukuqhubeka kufundisa sensitize abatali ngale HPV vaccine nokwatisa ukuthi kahle kahle isita kuphi ukuthi why sigomise abantwana labancane ngoba labanye bese bayabuta ukuthi hayi nibagomiselani labancane ngasigomiseni labadala kunetindlela takhona ukuthi kwendiwelana ukuthi kutargetwe labancane compared to labadala. So everything has a stepwise approach. There will be a point whereby now labadala will be a point which I still bangagoma now, but on a stepwise approach and trying to reduce the incidence rate and the burden of cervical cancer event, we had to take it as that particular strategy.
24 February, budget speech 2022-2023. Minister Neil Reichenberg announces 20 million emalangeni, which is $1.4 million US. Uthi Neil, this one is for HPV vaccine rollout. We actually would see the stages may be different, but that's according to the expert knowledge of our health practitioners. Of course, we have seen what you've just alluded to, Ngamani. Of course, the reasons are a stepwise approach. Yes, we understand ukuthi bantu bethu kufuna basitakale ukuthi level tawusitakala kanjani in the long run. But batawubana ukuthi vele lesigaba sethu siyedayisa ukuthi nanathi uthole lo mjovo. Of course, economically siyathi ukuthi sime kanjani simo semnotho lapha evencamane. I think also it gives us an opportunity to highlight how expensive the cancer in terms of vaccines ayo nekwekuthi uyothola isitho sesikhanza sesiyakbo South Africa ngakhanza ukuthi infrastructure yethu isengafiki kulelo zinga. Engenye ungasipha nje sitfombe kancane kudula wetindzaba te-cancer sase siyangena kulesigaba sokuthi nabo labadzala batawutfola umjovo maybe in the long run.
Uteka yona msakati kudula in terms of giving care kumuntu diagnosed confirmed cancer. It's at different stages, so you cannot really allude to one particular value and say this is it. I'll make an example. Some patients would receive a combination of therapies, we should receive a chemotherapy and radiation. Some patients will receive chemotherapy only. Some patients will receive radiotherapy only. So you cannot really allude to a certain specific figure in terms of good. Okay, when I get colon cancer, it costs so much. So it's different aspect of it. Basically, it's can assess to buga the thing. It's a staging process. Basically, cancer is staged from stage 1 to stage 4. So then we do what we call a survival rate. Buga stage less survival rate yakhe in person years ibangele kangakanani, which was iminyaka la ngayiphila nangabe so net stage 1 noma stage 2 ingakanani. So kuto tonke letinto leto. So silive Eswatini uhulumende so invested kakhulu in terms of treatment cancer, in terms of treatment of cancer in country. We have an inpatient unit. We also have an outpatient unit, oncology unit called Mbabana Gamanzi, an inpatient unit. So some of these therapies are offered in country, which then minimize the transition between South Africa and Eswatini. But then in some instances, we see be in a full holistic approach, whereby we have chemotherapy, but we do not have radiation as yet. If the patient requires a combination of both, without South Africa. Kusile msakati ukuthi investment ibekiwe siyathemba ukuthi live litagcina lifikile nawo senayo iradiation plan njalo takhona kwenda ama-therapies lafanele.
Okay. Musekosini shayela tandla nilitiko letempilo ngomsebenzi senwendile mayelana nangomsebenzi we-HPV vaccination. 49,245 is a great milestone in 5 months. Thank you so much for your time. Sifuna kubahlolet market, we are officially in Breast Cancer Month. We want to speak to Kelvin Dlamini, Health Promotion Officer mayelana nayo i-Breast Cancer Month.
Eswatini Lifestyle is all about inspiration, drive, and swag. Eswatini Lifestyle is informative and fun while covering all aspects of life, be it people, places, and trends in the Kingdom of Eswatini. We got you covered. The focus is on the quality of life. Eswatini Lifestyle will spark your interest. Catch Eswatini Lifestyle every Friday at 7:30 p.m. on Eswatini TV, Sibugo Semaswati.
We have Kelvin Dlamini, Health Promotion Officer from the Ministry of Health. Go kulumisa Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Le ngene kuyo nje officially kule nyanga ya October lesi kuyo. Ngosi si kuluminza we ukuthi nasibuka nje mdlavuza lapha even la ngwane. I-cervical cancer, the burden is quite high. Ngiyeva lo ukuthi ne breast cancer kungathi nayo it's just as high. Nasikhuluma ukuthi out of more than 500 cancer patients no attenda kwa a year, 400 bekashiya emhlabeni, 341 walabo bekuba at least cervical cancer. Engabe masibuka nje i-burden ye breast cancer lapha kangwane sithini isithombe sayo nokuthi taba ukuthi siresponde kuyo sinato imfele lapha even.
Yes, asibonge. Cishe the cervical cancer is leading. Mhlambe ke kungaba netizathu leti ngenda ukuthi ibe ngileli dako leti ngafaka ekhathi lokho ukuthi kulukhuni ukudiagnosa the cervical cancer ngaloko ukuthi ngekhathi kani le breast icishe ingephandle. So icishe number 2 i-breast cancer from cervical cancer, breast cancer, bese ke sesibona lamanye ama-cancers lokufaka ekhathi bo-prostate and whatever. So isetulu i-burden ye-breast cancer eveni maybe lokuphose kube ngconywana khona ngilokwe ukuthi yona the chances of i-death yayo iba incanyana ngalokwe ukuthi easy even to remove the breast kanina sikhuluma nge-cervical ukhanza ukuthi saze sadelaya sekuthinzeke internal organs quickly. So yeah, I think that will be the difference, but nje sine problem nayo ye-breast cancer even.
Yeah, you're telling me, Kutsi, most of the time, if breast cancer, now say figure maybe at a certain stage, vele the solution kubang amputation.
Yes, sinema stages lang for a cancer, leswabala mabom. So labo stage 1 ukhanza kwekuthi kunenvetineng letsendeka like labo chemotherapy kusabulaleka libuye libe kahle mhlawumbe, but as soon as ku advance ukhanza ukuthi the safest way kuba vele ngilokulisusa ngoba siyaye sithi asifuni lama cells achubeke aze agcine ahambe outside the breast. So kuba ke ngilokulisusa lokuyaye kube quick, but we are not jumping to that. Siyaye sibukele ukuthi i-advance kangakanani ngoba kuyendeka kube cancerous, but ukhanze ukuthi aku-advance at a higher pace kuhamba nje kancane. So ukhanze ukuthi kuyakhonakala ke ukuthi akususwe leso sigadla or akwendiwe lawo ma interventions la ngaba khona without removing the breast.
Asikhulume nge-response Nkosi indzaba ye-breast cancer, you've just alluded to the fact that number 2, ilandzele cervical cancer, which is a cause for concern. We are happy to go together. October is a breast cancer awareness month. How sensitized are Eswatini ngetindzaba breast cancer nanibonga nje sithombe senu with regards to kuta kwabo etibhedlela nekutfola lwati ngayo encenye nekutfola lusito ngayo?
Singaphose sithi as the health promotion department umuntu akadibonga kuphela, but as people responsible for information sharing ku community singaphose sithi the information is quite up there and the uptake ye information ikahle. Sikala ngani ke sikala like you are saying, sikala ngema invitations leswatholako to go to the community, siphinde sikale nge response yebantu labatawukuda emtholampilo kuto access lusito. So singaphose sisho ukuthi abantu seba sensitized nalokuthi ke so uyayukhanze ukuthi umuntu sota atisola ukuthi uyadinga into engisathi hlola libele man ngeva kungathi kunesigadla lengingakasijwayele lokhu kutshela ukuthi ke unayo information laseka itholile. So we are quite happy. Singafuna ukukhomenda kakhulu even emasondo churches, they are one of the organized organizations in the community, and we are getting quite a lot of invitations to come and health educate emasondweni ukuthi asenide ngalanga kithi phela sisafuna kufa kabanti ngaloko singenda kanjani. So singasho ukuthi cishe abantu they are covered with information, but ke vele kuliqiniswe singeselibalekele ukuthi there are people lekusafuna siyofika kibo with the information sharing and with the behavior change size sikhona ukuthi sivikele ama-deaths noma ama-complications la ngabo breast cancer.
Yeah, ngibuka na research nayo let's say HPV may cause breast cancer. It is not very conclusive nangifunda, but it may cause breast cancer. See, may we be killing 2 birds with 1 stone ngana HPV leni niketa bantwana?
I-HPV ifike ithi ngoba ligciwane lo HPV. So leli gciwane leli libanga ama-cancer amaningi lamtimbeni. Libanga le cervical cancer, breast cancer, oral cancer, some even penile cancer and whatever. So as ke sithi siya vaccinate lesikugatsile sikathe ukuthi ingeke nje ishaye the cervical cancer kuphela.
Great.
Yes, our main target as Minister of Health is the cervical cancer ngoba ngishite ekuqaleni ngathi ihlupha yona ukuthi ngekhathi cervix kulukhuni ukuthi abone make ukuthi sengine problem ye cervix, but siyathi ukuthi sibona the full impact of le HPV vaccine kungendeka sikhanze ukuthi nema cases abo breast cancer aya dropa, nema cases abo penile cancer aya dropa, nema cancers abo oral cancer aya drop. So yes, HPV vaccine i broad lo sito lwayo ngiko nje eluhlelweni lethu selitiko letempilo luthi at some stage even young boys atawugcina ayithola i-HPV vaccine kwanyalo sifocus vele on the girls, but even young boys at some stage atawugcina ayithola i-HPV vaccine.
Yeah. Ngabe yinje ngathi iqhaza lelingadlalwa ifamily in closing the gap. I believe families have a big role to play in some of these things.
Yes, so nasithi njena closing the care gap.
Yes.
Previously besiyayisicabanga ukuthi hayi kusho ukuthi isebenzi yetempilo kade ibe nice, kade imside kahle umuntu akube ne equipment le enough, but siyafike siyabona lokho ukuthi no, you cannot close the care gap esibhedlela kuphela. Kufuna ukuthi at family level kube khona lesikwendako. So at family level ke kungaba ngiloko ukuthi asikhuthatane letindzaba dekwe ukuthi hey bekunene asiscreeneni phela emabele ethu. Kungaba ngiloko kwani ukuthi asikhuthatane lapho. Ungibabe ungimake ulijaha uyintombatana. Kungaba kuhle lokho ukuthi sikukhulume la khaya. That's step number 1 yekusupportana. Step number 2 yekusupportana ngiloko ukuthi mhlambe sowukhona lo la khaya lo sanethi impawu letisolisa ukuthi ngenteka kube i-breast cancer. Akayive le support yethu as a family kwekuthi sinawe in this, we will continue to love you. Sitawuphinde sichubeke sikwesekele ngayo yonke indlela. Bese ke mhlambe kungaba ngiloko ukuthi ke vele sengidiagnosed sengine breast cancer. Psychologically kukhulu kakhulu ukutshelwa ukuthi une cancer. Akufanani nekwekuthi kuthiwe unemkhuhlane. Akufanani nekwekuthi kuthiwe une HIV, because lokuthiwe une HIV uba nako kwekuthi ngidawuthatha ama ARVs ngibe ngcono, but ke cancer umuntu uvela utitshela ukuthi awuvele sekude sekuphelile. So we need the family ke ukuthi itomsekela lo muntu ngoba siyathi ukuthi emasotsha emuntu ayehla emtimbeni ehliswe kwekuthi lo muntu ukhathatekile, lo muntu ucabanga ukuthi vele sekuphelile ngaye. Nakunale family ke letamtshela ukuthi we love you, you are there. And bese ke lokunye lokuyaye kwenteke ukuthi umuntu angazabe nesifo lesingaselapheki njenge cancer. Noma ngabe bekangibabe la khaya, noma ngabe bekangimake la khaya, ubese sowuvele uthi angisasiyo into yalutho. As soon as asho njalo kukhanda athi sowuluza le status sakhe. So isupport ke family imcoka kwekuthi you are still our mother, you are still our beloved daughter. Awukanjinji kulobo ungiko kona la khaya. Asikudefine ngale cancer wena, but sikudefine ngaloko ukuthi ungibani la kithi, not ukuthi soyagula unani. So ngiko ke sithi may the family come in. Mhlawumbe ke lokunye ezisibuka le family, sibuka le nuclear family babe make bantwana, bese sesibuka nalomndeni ke lomkhulu. Nakiwo ke ngila ukhanza khona ukuthi abantu sibacinzetele ekuguleni kwabo ngekuthi bese kugcwala tindzaba about lokugula kwabo. Lesithi ke thina ukhanza ukuthi lokunye kuyi accidental disclosure, ukuthi awu phela ngibiya lapha kubani, awu kumphethe vele abengadi Kelvin lokho ukuthi lo muntu lo yawune cancer. So ngikhanza ukuthi sesiya disclosure, solo sithi siyalilelana. Ngiko ke sifuna ne support even the family kwekuthi vele kasisekelane konke lokuyimfihlo ngalesigulane sakho kugcine kanjalo, ungakhanzi ukuthi sokudisclose accidentally kulomnye umuntu.
Yeah, certainly. And we do hope ukuthi sitayibona incidents it drop drastically, as well as the mortality, because we do see them emsebenzini yendawo. Sibona Pink ucwele kakhulu kulamalanga lapha ngephandle. Thank you so much. Calvin Dlamini, Health Promotion Officer from the Ministry of Health, just giving us a breakdown of simo se breast cancer awareness lapha evenangwane sime kuphi. Well, umthethosifikuma phethelo nelihlelo ngiva buhlungu ukuthi sesiyakuvalelisa, sibonane kusasa nisale kahle.